Hello, I'm Laurie McMenemy. Welcome to The Ugly Inside. Subscribe below.
Hi, welcome along to another reaction video, and big news this evening emerging that Virgil van Dijk has officially submitted a transfer request. The inevitable, it has to be said, but Nick and Clive are also here on the call to give you their thoughts too. But let's start with this statement that I'll read out some of the key quotes that's come from Virgil van Dijk. Now, it's with regret that I can confirm today I've had a transfer request to leave Southampton Football Club. I feel there is no alternative after I was given notice of the club's intention to impose a disciplinary sanction against me of a fine of equivalent of 2 weeks' wages. I will be appealing what I feel to be an unjustified sanction and their inability to follow the correct disciplinary protocol in due course. Over the past 6 months, I've had numerous discussions with the representatives of the board, the former manager Claude Puel, and as well as the new manager Mauricio Pellegrino, to inform them all of my desire to leave in search of a new challenge. I'm incredibly ambitious and want to achieve as much as I possibly can to fulfill my potential and what is a very short career as a professional footballer. I want to play European football again and challenge for major honours, and as such I'd like Southampton to consider an interest in me from top clubs should it still exist. I've been frustrated by the club's position that I'm not for sale and am disappointed. Inquiries from multiple top clubs have consistently been rebuffed. It goes on to say the period of time that I've just spent injured and unable to play has put a number of things into perspective and made me realise just how important it is to take major opportunities should they arrive. It goes on to say that he wants to make it clear that he never once refused to train, and as a proud professional I'm insulted by the suggestion that it was me who was refused to train, and so feel it is important to point out the true version of events. I very much hope to retain a good relationship I've always enjoyed with everyone at the club, especially the fans, but in light of everything that's happened now, this has now seriously been affected. I've nothing but gratitude to everyone at Southampton Football Club for giving me the opportunity to play in the Premier League. However, the time for me now is to move on, and I hope able to work with the club to find the best resolution to suit all parties. But it has to be said, in my opinion, this statement has been advised by his PR team. His agency is the one that's put forward this statement. But let's not pretend for a minute that he's going to stay at Saints forever. But this saga has become tiresome. It really is disgusting, the behaviour from the player, who we've paid handsomely for the past 6 months. Nick?
Biggest piece of ghost-written fiction since Ashley Cole's autobiography, I think. Yeah, you're right. It's been written by his agent. It's been written by his PR team. But does it sound that truthful to me? No. I mean, it shows Saints have stopped acting with kid gloves. You know, for the last, month, 6 weeks, they've been handling it quite well. They've refrained from metaphorically losing their temper. And now they have, and allegedly, as also he claims, they're fining him 2 weeks' wages. What a shame. That's going to be what, £150,000 that's going out of his skyrocket, as they say. There'll be people in Southampton here, so sorry for him that he's losing that much money. But if it's the biggest lot of crap I've heard since Ashley Cole claimed in his autobiography that when he'd heard that Arsenal had only offered him 120 grand a week or whatever it was, he nearly crashed his car. He was so shocked. What does he want? He signed a 5-year contract. This time last year, he was saying how great it was to be at Southampton Football Club and how he hoped to grow with the club, etc., etc. And now he wants to leave for clubs that haven't bid for him. How he knows that? I mean, perhaps he's a psychic as well. I mean, I've been looking at social media tonight and I haven't seen one Southampton fan that's got any sympathy for him.
Clive?
No, it's not about having sympathy for him. It's about how do we deal with this situation? How does Southampton Football Club get the best out of this situation? Clearly, it's been going on and on and on, boring the pants off everyone. Just, unfortunately, filling papers all summer long. It's come to a head now. I'd really like to know what the 2 weeks' wages fine is for. Southampton Football Club can perhaps clarify that. That would put us all in the picture. But clearly, communications have been going on for a long time from Virgil to the club, indicating that he wants to go. The situation's now come to a head, and things need to move on. And realistically, it can only be a good thing that Saints secure the very best fee that they can for him and invest that money in the team. It's come a little bit late for this transfer window, but looking forward, Saints should benefit from 2 years as a player. Great service. Let's not forget the guys who've put him back on the road. The medical team. How are they feeling? They've spent months and months in rehab getting him right, and then he just walks. I want to go now. It's not great, is it? It's not great. So yeah, and the social media that I've seen tonight, everyone's just roasting him. So I don't expect he'll get much sympathy, other than the likes of TalkSport and Sky Sports that will always say, "Oh yeah, well it's only right that he goes to a team that's in Europe." Why is it right? He signed a 5-6 year contract, whatever it was. He didn't kiss the badge like Lallana, but he believed in what the Saints were doing, and all of a sudden we're not good enough for him.
Well, it's our money that's not good enough for him. That's the whole point. He's changed his agent, and his agent's turned his head. I mean, again, it's a very similar situation to Dejan Lovren. The only difference here is we've managed to keep Van Dijk in one piece in Southampton for the time being, whereas obviously we had to sell Liverpool Lovren's body to join his head that was already up there. So we could get it up his own arse. But, it's just, you're right, Clive. It's a sorry situation in the fact that if you look at social media, if you look at the Liverpool social media, there's loads of Liverpool fans living all across the world and in Slough and the home counties creaming themselves and saying, how dare we hold this player for ransom and hostage? Whereas any normal thinking football fan, and even some of the Liverpool supporters that are thinking this is just football gone. Across the Premier League, there'll be a lot of people with all clubs thinking, I'm falling out of love with Premier League football. It's just become, it's bloated.
The bottom line is he signed a long contract, and basically Saints hold the cards in negotiations. And I think that's important from our point of view. And who knows, he might not go to Liverpool. It might end up Chelsea, could end up abroad. His desire. The only thing I would agree with him is, yes, football is a short career, fact, and yes, he wants to play in Europe. So, like a lot of international stars, okay, he wants that wish, but Saints hold that contract. We hold the cards.
I think this whole situation stinks. He won't get any sympathy from any of the fans, no matter where he goes to, whether it's Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, or even Barcelona, with a bit of money who they've got now. But what would be a good deal for Saints?
67 million, I would hope.
Well, the fact that he's put in a transfer request is just put an extra 6 million to 7 million in our coffers. In the fact we don't have to give him a 10% bonus for not asking for a transfer now. So,
On the flip side of that, we've got to give Celtic 10%.
Well, we've always had to give Celtic the 10%. So as it stood before today, if we got 70 million for him, we'd have to give, I think Celtic's 15%. So we'd have had to give about 10.5 to Celtic, 11 million to Celtic, and 7 million to Van Dijk. So out of 70 million, we'd have netted 52 million. If we sold him now for 60 million, for argument's sake, we'd actually only be, by the time we give him Celtic their cut, because we don't have to give him anything, we'd net 51 million. So, we're not.
It's still a substantial sum for us, and given that we haven't, despite the purchase of this Italian, has that gone through yet? Sorry, from Juventus?
No, well, I don't think so.
Mario or not?
But the trouble is, he's trying to find it in the News Now headlines, because it's like a teleprinter on there with everyone claiming, he may well have signed 3 hours ago, but it's all at the bottom of the news stories now. The fact is, the main thing that's changed tonight, nothing has changed, to be honest. Nothing has changed other than but we now know Saints have stopped playing with kid gloves. Saints
and the weather's still crap.
Forced this situation. From what I see for most Saints fans now, I mean, an ideal situation is that in terms of getting a bit of control, revenge, or whatever, people I spoke to have said, hold him to January, let him write in the reserves till, metaphorically speaking, because we don't have reserves anymore, till January, then flog him. And because someone will want to pay over the odds in January his value won't go down. In the meantime, on the back of the fact that we're going to get 60 cents odd million for him, let's go out and buy a couple of players and just say, there you go, you can train on your own. And you know what Saints have shown, we don't know why he's been fined 2 weeks' wages, but when he doesn't train again and when he doesn't play again, we fine him another 2 weeks' wages. But ultimately, we knew it was going to play out, and it's been a phony war for the last 3 months or so. We know he's been tapped up. We know he's wanted to go, and we've been trying to talk him round and talk a bit of sense into him. That's stopped. We know where we all stand now. So,
excellent stuff then, chaps. Let me wrap things up on the reaction video, but my final word would be he's let down all of the fans, the staff that's looked after him for the past 6 months, and he's let down a lot of young people who he was a role model for, and it's disgraceful behaviour from our captain who is meant to set an example. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you react to the whole news Virgil van Dijk has submitted a transfer request? Leave us your likes, your thoughts, and subscribe for more.